Join us Monday mornings at 8:45 a.m. and Thursdays 6:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time.
I think your mic's on mute.
Yay, I'm muted this morning.
Right. So you told me to mute, and then I'm looking at you going, wait a minute, she's muting. Either that or something's like disconnected on my end because your lips were moving, but I didn't hear anything.
Good. It's good. You didn't hear me. That's good.
No, that's not the
It's another one of them. Hey, I'm trying.
good.
So good morning, Awakenings Within. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Heather. Good morning, Larry. Thanks for joining us for Awakenings Within. How awake are you today?
Well, I am slowly awakening. I don't know if I had I'm on football overload from the weekend or what. It's like
what happened in football world?
Well, it's for those of us who are passionate football fans, it's been a long wait, and there was no preseason, so suddenly here it was, and it was football, and I was like, and then my team, the Packers, they played the Minnesota Vikings and crushed them. Ooh. So it was a good week. My Chiefs won, my Packers won.
All right.
So it's a good Monday. So I purposely brought another coffee mug different than the other one. It kind of looks the same. But I was afraid. One. Yeah.
It still looks stone-ish.
Hey, it's my color.
So Heather says good morning. Though. Larry says good morning. Oh, to Heather. He did say good morning to us too. That was nice of him. Thank you, Larry.
So did you watch any football?
Did I? No, I was traveling this weekend.
Really?
I went to the hometown.
Oh, really?
I went through all the places. And look what I got. Look what I got. Which you know.
Oh, yes.
I should be their spokesperson. Every time I go to St. Louis, I get mullet. Remember that really crazy? They used to have a little jingle about mullet. Anyway,
yeah,
I'm not going to try.
My favorite St. Louis thing is Emo's Pizza.
I had that on Friday.
Also, that's seriously to this day is still the best pizza.
The rest of the whole country does not know what creamy Italian is. They really don't. They don't do creamy Italian. What is up with that? I didn't know it was a St. Louis thing. It is. It's a St. Louis thing.
Well, I had to buy some.
So here, I should be a spokesperson. You should sponsor me today.
we can get some sponsors for our show.
We need some sponsors. Mullet,
right.
And creamy Italian. And I had toasted raviolis, of course. I went to the Hill on Saturday.
Right.
I went to Missouri Baking Company.
So 44th and where Interstate 44 and Hampton Avenue intersect.
Oh yeah.
If you just go up Hampton or south on Hampton, maybe a quarter mile. That's where my first business was.
Oh.
Yeah. So I had the I don't know how to say this. I don't want to say the privilege because that's really not the right word. But I had the experience of dealing with the Italian mob.
You told us about the cleaning out the
exactly. So I spent many a time with Guido,
Yeah, well, we went to Missouri Baking Company first and got gooey butter cake, of course. Gooey butter cake. Who knew?
Who knew?
I didn't know when I moved away from St. Louis. Of course, then I knew that all of that was a St. Louis thing. But I revisited. So I went there to get together with girlfriends from high school. So after we got together, I decided to go around the corner to Kirkwood Park where we used to hang out. We all used to walk up to Kirkwood Park and hang out at the park. Well, I went up there, and sure enough, there were a bunch of high school kids in the parking lot doing the same exact things we were doing, being rowdy. They were listening to music, dancing around their cars and stuff. I mean, we didn't do that. We went further down into the park. We had a boom box then, remember?
Yeah.
We had boom boxes. We didn't stay next to our cars, but
well, I'm a little older than you, and we had transistor radios.
Oh, that's oh, those things were terrible. You turn the little knob, and
you had the one earpiece. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it was mono, and you had right. So that was that. I remember when I was very little. We used to have fish fries at St. Alphonsus Catholic Church on Friday, and so here I was like, I don't know, I think I was like 5 years old or something, and we're at the fish fry, and there's a whole bunch of teenage girls standing around in a circle screaming, and I didn't know what the heck was going on, so my little 5-year-old mind decided to pursue what was causing the girls to scream. And when I got over there and I asked them why they were screaming, they said Beatles. And so I was looking down on the ground trying to find the Beatles that were scaring them, and I couldn't find them, and I was all puzzled. And then they pointed to the transistor radio, and it was there was the Fab Four doing their thing. That was like so mysterious to me. Why the girls would be screaming at a radio?
That's funny. That's funny. Well, okay, mugs up. I didn't say mugs up today, so I have a mugs up. Mine says love, which
love. Mine says Earth Mother.
Love the Earth Mother. I kind of look like a hippie. I guess that would work.
Yeah.
So
you can tell by all my stuff that I just like natural. Like I like things.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Well, it's apparently I like fairies.
It's one of the reasons why it's like I enjoy going to Africa, because Africans they can wear bright colors like lime green and vibrant oranges and bright yellows, which white people like me, we just like to look like little pasty, sickly, ashen people in those colors.
I wore that in the 80s. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I had one of those.
Anyways, I do enjoy bright colors. It's just on other people.
Yeah. So okay, audience, what did you guys do this weekend? You're being quiet. They're quiet today. Very, very quiet.
Maybe they're on football overload as well.
What are they doing? So how is everyone? Pipe in. Mugs up. Pipe in. I'm being a little forceful today. So yeah.
Hello, Manny. Manny tuned in. It's nice to hear from Manny.
Hey, Sandy, good to be here. Yay. Hi, Manny. How's it going on the West Coast?
Yeah, they're relaxed.
She relaxed and spent some time. That's awesome.
Oh, that's nice.
My son moved away. He went to Little Rock.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you needed to move away to like somewhere more exotic than Little Rock. Just saying.
Yes.
I was just, But hey, if you like it, it was funny. We drove through Little Rock one time and found this really awesome fish restaurant, which I don't understand why seafood's a big deal in Little Rock, but it is. So it's called the Flying Fish. Great place if you guys go to Little Rock. It's on Clinton Boulevard, of course. Downtown River. Zooming all weekend. Of course, Larry's always zooming. Zoom.
Yeah, my experience in Little Rock was the Clinton Museum. And then right across from them is, I can't even remember the name of it, but it's some big agricultural not-for-profit organization, that teaches agriculture. And I went and visited them as well. So there is some cool stuff there. Okay.
So hi, Larry Melton. I don't know who Larry, but Manny said sashimi. I can't get into sashimi. I like sushi, but I can't get into sashimi.
Mm-hmm. Sushi?
Yeah.
You don't like sushi?
I love sushi, but I don't like sashimi. I don't like the big chunks of it. Like I can handle in the rolls, but I can't handle the big. Yeah. I hope it was good, Manny. What kind do you eat? I don't know. So Larry Melton, good morning. Nice to see you. So he can see people. That's good. I think. Depends on if you see like the real people or not. Oh, you're a drummer. Hi. Oh, okay. Drummers are cool. Yeah. I know how to drum.
So have you checked outside and seen the weather?
No. Oh, I'm not. Are we going to talk about the weather?
Well,
we're
talking about sushi.
Huh?
I said, no, the weather's more interesting here because it was like, we were freezing and then all of a sudden now it's warm again.
Well, I was in St. Louis and it was hot there.
Yeah.
That was so crazy is it's like exactly, lateral to where we are, but yet it was hot there.
Well, I was back in my shorts again. I went from
tired now. Okay.
I went from, wearing, winter clothes for, 3 days last week to back in shorts again. So we're having schizophrenic weather here in Kansas City. So
I'm not going to do the change out until October. Do you do the whole change out or do you just wait? I wait.
I was a little bit, because I had all my fall and winter stuff packed away, right?
Uh-huh.
And then suddenly there it is, it's cold. And so I'm like, okay, so now I'm pulling things out, trying to find something warm to wear during the day because it's in the 50s.
Oh, I hate the.
And then you're like, well, how much stuff do I take out? Do I put my other stuff back? Do I there's always that tweener stage where you're kind of caught, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And you're like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And so I'm sort of in that state. So I got a few long sleeve things out just in case, but I still have all my t-shirts and shorts all out. You know I mean?
So, wow. So we have two Larrys on here.
Year-round shorts.
Yeah, we have two Larrys on here. Now I'm confused.
Yeah. Well, Larry Schneider's year-round shorts. That's the way my oldest is. My oldest is like the middle of winter.
What is that?
20 degrees out, and he's in his basketball shorts. You know what I mean? Outside running around.
See, us girls in the 80s, we used to do that with we had corduroy shorts and we had tights and then boots. Like that was like a thing. That was like the fashion. But guys with crazy shorts and flip-flops, I don't get it. I don't see how it happens.
Well,
listen to Kim. I need to move to Alaska. You live in Florida, Kim. You can't move to Alaska.
It's just not guys. I literally on Friday, I was out, right? It was Thursday, right? It was 50 degrees and it was rainy, right?
Yeah.
So the water was cold. There's this young college girl who's in sandals. And I looked at her and I was sitting there waiting on something and I looked at her and I thought, I'm going to ask her, like, are your toes not cold here? She started laughing and going, yeah, they're freezing. And I'm like, well, what would possess you to put sandals on a rainy day that's in the 50s? And she goes, I don't know. Wow. I didn't think about it.
Hey, just to let you guys know, this is chatting morning, by the way, coffee chat, mugs up. We just do coffee chat on Mondays. We're not going to get heavy today, right?
That's up to you.
We always say that. I always go, are we going to get heavy today? Are you in Ohio? No, I'm in Kansas. We're in Kansas. Well, kind of.
I'm in Missouri.
You're in Missouri. I'm in Kansas. We're really far away.
Speak for yourself.
Oh, yeah, right. I forgot. Oh, she's in Florida because of her husband. I would be in Florida. Kim, find me the rich husband.
In Florida or Alaska?
In Florida.
Oh, really? I could see you live up in Alaska, in your log cabin.
Oh, my God.
Raccoon hat and your.
Oh, no. No. My name is Sandy. It's summer and sand and all that go together.
Mhm.
Blonde hair,
God has a sense of humor, though, so just be careful.
I am not ending up
I
in
will
Alaska.
never
I'm
go
going
to
to tell you that
Alaska.
right now.
Don't say those things. Any
I
of
meet
us
a guy. He's the most handsome guy. He has all the things. He checks the boxes, whatever.
Mhm.
And then he goes, I live in Alaska. I'd be like, peace out.
Oh, Lord, have mercy.
Have a nice time. Sorry.
Oh, gosh.
Beach girl here.
Mm-hmm.
Any beach.
There's beaches in Alaska.
Oh, there are. You freeze to death.
It's just
Yeah,
grizzly bears on them.
Glaciers with polar bears on them. No,
grizzly bears.
no.
Grizzly.
They have polar bears. Polar bears on glaciers.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I have watched National Geographic. Okay,
alligators in Florida, giant creatures.
So Larry Melton, you're having a beer for breakfast? Oh, beer for breakfast. I've never done that. I've never done beer for breakfast. So, yeah. Have you?
Me? Only in Europe.
In Europe?
Yeah.
In Germany or something?
Yeah.
I knew it.
I was
How
like,
did I know that?
I
just kind of had a feeling. Germany. You do it in Germany. Yeah. That would make sense.
Beer there's like water. You know what I mean? It's just, Yeah.
I want to know if I've seen Dorothy. Both my grandmothers were named Dorothy. So yes, I have. I've seen two of them. When both your grandmothers are named Dorothy.
Then the next question is, have you seen The Wizard of Oz?
I have.
The movie, but did you really see The Wizard?
Did I really see The Wizard? No.
You're not seeing The Wizard?
Not seen The Wizard.
Good. Okay,
I wish you would take me away. I wish I'd go to the Oz right now. This weekend was interesting.
Okay.
I'm in St. Louis, and there is a definite mask, non-mask thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Like everywhere in St. Louis, masks. We go to St. Charles on the riverfront, and then people were confused on if they should or they shouldn't.
Really?
Is it just because we're at the riverbank? I mean, what? So we still masked, by the way. Anybody listening, we still did our masks. However, it was interesting. Just people thought that they were, on the riverbank. Have you ever been to St. Charles Riverbank?
Well, my dear, when you were driving down I-70,
yes,
and you crossed the Missouri River there at St. Charles, we're going east. I spent a year of my life on that bridge building it.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks.
That was my first job. Well, yeah. Not really my first job, but my first big career. I worked under the bridge, actually.
Yeah.
So we spent 2 days pouring concrete. So I worked on the top, but then the rest of the time I lived under the bridge. Me and one other guy. We were the youngest guys, right?
Yeah.
On the bridge. And none of the older guys wanted to go underneath the bridge because we had to walk on those beams over the water to tear out all the forms. So you'd put the forms underneath and then pour the concrete. And then once it got hard, then we'd go underneath and do all the forms. So I lived under the bridge. I was like the troll for a whole year that lived under the bridge.
Oh God. What year?
That would have been 78.
Oh, wow. I was still there.
Yeah.
I was 10.
Yeah, so you saw.
So I was driving over the top of you under the troll.
That was my. We were just talking about that over the weekend because that was my first experience with understanding life in the union.
Union
worked. Yes, because in order to work on the bridge, you had to join the union, the laborers union, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I came from a family with a very hard work ethic.
Right.
And so here I am. It's my first day on the job, and I'm doing what I had been raised to do, which was hustle, right?
Yeah.
And about 3/4 of the way through the day, the union steward comes up and taps me on the shoulder and pulls me aside and says, "Son, can we talk for a second?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, he said, "I appreciate your hard work and your effort, but you're working way too fast and you're keeping 3 men out of a job in the union hall. So slow down."
Oh no.
Right?
I've actually had
and I
jobs
was
like that.
it was like a collision of worldviews, right? I was so confused. Like here, I'd spent all 18 years of my life being taught that people get ahead by working hard. Then I got told that I was working too hard.
Right. I've been told that slow your roll. I was told slow your roll exactly like that. Yeah. I mean, they didn't say it in any other way. Slow your roll.
Right. Like, so the first day,
I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, because you're messing up our productivity scale. I'm like, what? What does that mean? And they were like, yeah, just slow your roll.
So get this. So what they would do, they had built this little like platform thing that was hanging on a crane, and so they'd lift the crane would lift us up and then out over the river and then drop us down and then pull back in, and then we'd anchor the little thing that they'd built right against the bridge, and then we'd climb underneath. Right. Well, our first day on the job, and we get 2 there were 4x8 sheets of plywood and different stuff. Well, we had the whole thing down in an hour, right? So we get everything loaded on the little thing. We pull the rope. The guy pulls us up, right? And we're all proud of ourselves because we were so good at getting the forms out, right? And this same union steward comes back and says to us, "Boys, I want to see what you just did in an hour." In 8 hours. I don't want to see any more than 2 of those panels up in a day, right?
That's crazy.
So we're looking at each other, we're 2 18-year-olds, you know what I mean? And we're like, so what did we do? We brought books and, our CD. I mean, we literally lived under the bridge, but we'd work for a few minutes and then we'd do like this and then we'd go, like they wouldn't let us up. They kept us under the bridge for 8 hours a day doing 1 hour of work.
That's nuts.
No, it was totally.
And you saw what Michael said. Don't expect the union or government to do anything efficiently. Well,
yeah, Mike and I were talking about it last night. I mean, it was such a mind-boggling experience for me. I just didn't compute,
I know it's you go, what? It's like because there's a contract, right? They needed to stretch the contract out.
Well, one of our friends just got a government job and he's running up against the same thing. You know what I mean? It's like, you get paid this big money to work basically, 30 minutes to an hour in an 8-hour shift, and you're getting paid and people's tax dollars are going towards all this. You know what I mean? And you're like, wait a minute, Yeah.
Look at what Heather wrote. I think the people I hire must have worked for them at some point. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah. When you get told, and Michelle said the same thing. She had 2 jobs like that as well. I mean, when you get told to slow your productivity down, it's totally against what you're like, huh?
Right. Yeah, I know.
Politics and stuff. Ugh. That's why working for yourself is just like the best. Like, just work for yourself, have your own integrity, your own productivity, all of that. Work hard, in what you want to do. Of course, I do work for somebody right now. So.
But I'm just saying it's interesting when you're taught a certain ethic, you know what I mean? A certain work ethic, right?
Yeah.
And so you feel responsible, and this is who you are, and this is how, like you said, this is how I roll, right? And then suddenly you come face to face with this bigger institution that's telling you that everything that you were raised to think, right, and everything that makes you, we don't want that. We want something that's a whole lot less efficient and productive.
What would Heather say? I think that, she said it. Okay. Only way to fly, work for yourself. Well, my thing is, but morale has a lot to do with it too.
With what?
Work morale has to
Oh,
do with
work
how
morale,
you
yeah.
work and everything. And
What do you think about work morale now when it used to be we were all clustered in an office building and now we're all working from home?
look at Michael. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, your boss. What a terrible boss you have, Michael.
I know.
Had 12. Yeah.
Mike's boss is just
Did you ever work in a shop that had 12 different unions? How could you have 12 different unions?
Oh no, it's how it was at the bridge. So you have this
really. How does that work?
Okay, so here's an example, right? On the bridge we're talking about, right? So I'm a laborer, right? And I tear out the forms.
Right.
Well, the forms had nails in them. And so what happened was when they brought us out from under the bridge, they set us down on top, right? I started to take my hammer out and pull out the nails. Suddenly, I have this guy running towards me who says, I'm a carpenter and I'm in the carpenters union and you cannot pull nails out of a board. That's a carpenter's job.
Oh, what?
No, that's how it works. So I was not allowed to pull any. Now, if I was underneath the bridge where nobody saw me, I could do it. And that's what we learned how to do. But if I came up on top of the bridge where the carpenters union guys were, and I got caught taking a nail out of a board.
Wow. Right? That's nuts.
Right? Then you have a steel worker, right? You have the steel workers union. Right. So if you touch anything that's metal, even like doing a wire, like tying a wire, untying a wire, and you do it and you're not an iron worker, then they're on your case.
Wow.
So it's like in these big, huge job sites, there's like these little turf wars.
Oh my gosh. I hate it. Hey, Phil, congrats, Phil. Phil got married, I think, yesterday or the day before.
Oh, did he? Well, congrats.
He got married. Congrats, Phil. He got married. I saw a lot of marriages this last weekend. Well, I took pictures in St. Louis, and there were all of these wedding parties all over the place. We were like, what is going on? Is it like wedding weekend or what?
Well, it's probably like airplanes stacked up at O'Hare Airport on the runway. There was all these people that had weddings planned earlier. They all got canceled. And so now everybody's trying to catch up.
Yep, to keep number of jobs.
Yeah, that's exactly, Phil. That's what we were talking about. It's this kind of mentality. It's all about keeping as many people with jobs on the project. It's not about efficiencies or
It's nuts, right?
Yeah, it's a different
and of course they all want to keep their contracts. They want to stretch them out because they make more money. So
well, but it's all factored in. So when they're bidding on these big government projects, right? The government is overpaying, if it was, you know what I mean? Because of the fact in their mind, they're creating jobs.
Do you see? Michael, I swear, our heckler. I've missed you, Michael, though. I've missed our heckler. You don't have a top fan badge anymore, do you?
No, that's
been on here
because his boss made him go to the lake.
Yeah, his boss, and so did John, and Heather was saying that she didn't like her boss either. Of course, it's herself. That's where I want to be, but I want to be my own boss at the beach. That's it.
So then
one goal.
Yeah, but you know what the key to that is coming up with a beach business.
Well, yeah. You know what? My sister, if she's on here, hi Donna, if you're on here, she wants to have a place where you rent out bicycles.
Okay.
Like, that's a good idea. Oh, we need to slow down. You don't want us to talk more slowly, Michael.
We're putting two people out of a job because we talk too fast. You see?
Oh.
If we could
Larry
slow it down. I mean,
I put that up there. Larry cussed.
Larry.
No cussing, Larry.
Larry needs healing.
Yeah. So what does Phil got to say? It's because the companies are always cutting jobs to cut overhead. Yep. I know. I tell you.
Yeah.
I don't think the union cemented in my status. Oh, gosh. Okay. Can we get off the union out? Because I won't be allowed to go to the Hill. I need to get more salad dressing.
Well, I just want you to know that every time you go to St. Louis from Kansas City, you're driving over my bridge.
I'm driving over your bridge.
Right.
I used to drive over that bridge all the time. My an aunt lived there.
So you know what? So here's something freaky. This is not about the Union, but it's about the bridge. You know what's really freaky? Is to stand underneath the bridge and watch the other bridge on the other side go up and down like this.
I love that.
When the big trucks go over. Like, people don't realize when you're driving over it that this bridge is flexible, right? Because you're just driving across it, but you can actually see the bridge moving if you stand on the side of it. It's crazy.
Wow. That's
it's freaky. It's freaky to watch. You're like, what? It's moving.
I just need to clear up Larry Melton. We know you didn't cuss. It was the other Larry, our other Larry.
Yeah. The other Larry's having
the other Larry. Our Zoomer. Our Larry Zoom. Zoom Larry.
Zoom Larry.
Zoom Larry. So anything exciting? Anything deep this weekend? No. Have you read
this book yet? Too deep.
Have you read this book yet?
No.
Okay.
Well, that cut that off real fast. End of discussion.
No? Okay, whatever.
You can talk about it. I'll just listen.
It's discover the 28 principles of freedom our founding fathers said must be understood and perpetuated by every people who desire peace, prosperity, and freedom. Learn how adherence to these beliefs during the past 200 years has brought about more progress than was made in the previous 5,000 years.
I see.
5,000. This is a great book about, you can see the flag, our country. So
what are you learning from reading the book?
What am I learning? Well,
what are your aha moments?
There's not been any ahas because I like history.
Okay.
So I've already pretty much know why the founding fathers wrote things the way they did. And they all were from different political backings. And people don't realize that. They think they were like all one, I think. And right. That's not correct. So they made, our Constitution, Declaration of Independence, everything in a moderate zone. And people are not understanding that. They think that the founding fathers are coming from only one side. Right. And that's not correct. So I am using this book to learn more, to start teaching about it.
Well, people have to, when you go back and you realize we had 13 colonies, which basically were like 13 little countries, right?
Right.
Each that had their own independent governments, they're each their own culture, right? So the coming together of all those 13 colonies to form one single thing, the amount of compromise and negotiations that had to go on to bring all of that diversity together is actually pretty extraordinary.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. And again, and behind all of that, right, were 13 different religious philosophies, right? I mean, the Quakers in Pennsylvania had a very different worldview than the Catholics in Rhode Island and the Baptists in Georgia.
And then Jamestown.
Right. So again,
everybody was coming from different places. It's just crazy. Okay. So Michelle, I'll send it to you. This is a great book. I don't know what they're saying the miracle is, but to me, the miracle, if you want to call it, was their capacity to take diversity and bring it together into some homogeneous identity of a bigger nation. I mean, it's really, because these were all 13 these were already established, right? It wasn't like these were, it's one thing to try to do that when everybody's new, right? Yeah. It's sort of formless and void. But when you have already 13 existing unique structures with their own unique religious worldviews and whatever, and try to bring all that together. So one of the things that I get frustrated with is that one of the things that's just very unfair is we try to put modern understandings on top of ancient stories, right? Yes.
So we talk about morality and ethics and all these things with our 2020 understanding of them all, but 200, 300, 500 years ago, people didn't have the same worldview.
Right. And that's what this book is about.
Oh, there you go. See?
It's called The 5,000 Year Leap. I see you both are saying send it to you. So, and it's by, let's see. It doesn't really say who the author is. That's kind of interesting.
It wasn't until Eleanor Roosevelt in 1948 that we even had an international Bill of Rights.
Yeah.
In other words, I mean, it's not even 100 years ago, right? That the whole world even agreed on some standard of ethics.
Yes.
So it's like before 1948, anything that happened out there was every man for himself. It was the strongest, the strongest rule.
Well, that's what's happening in our sideboard over here. They're fighting over the top badge thing again.
Yeah, so they're fighting.
They're fighting.
Everybody wants to be the most popular on your page.
Oh no. Oh my goodness. Yep. I mean, see? I mean, they're fighting over the diamonds again.
Look at all these people fighting over the blessing of Sandy to get their badge.
Oh, he's going to have another beer. Okay.
There you go.
Hey, David. Sorry. Called him Dave. David. Hi, nice to see you. I haven't seen you in a minute. So, yeah, this book, it's
just, I think people need, one of the things that
they should really go visit Monticello, go visit Charlottesville. That's what cemented things for me with history. I mean, I already knew that I liked history, but I have to admit, going to visit historical places helps to put context to it. And then when you go on these tours, they even tell you more in depth about the person, like Thomas Jefferson. What an interesting guy. He would have been so cool to meet. He was an interesting dude. I mean, he had so many different.
And he was totally, I mean, in terms of personality traits, he was the antithesis of John Adams. He was as opposite from John Adams as you could possibly be, right? You have one that's linear thinker, a lawyer, very principled on the issues of justice. And, a man with such integrity that he actually defended the British soldiers because he thought they had been wrongly accused. Jefferson, who was very avant-garde and, kind of fluid and very, philosophical and, Jefferson would have been listening to the Moody Blues and Pink Floyd.
We don't know.
Jefferson was, sort of ethereal music, Brian Eno and that whole
Jefferson. He's a little controversial right now.
Well, but why?
James Madison isn't, however. So James Madison, go to
Yeah, but again, this is my issue with so many people, right? They're trying to rewrite history. It's like they're trying to take situations and pull them completely out of context, right? Like context matters, right?
Context does matter,
right? So the very people who are complaining about certain things, had they lived 200 years ago, 300 years ago, they would have thought completely different than they think now. And the fact that people don't know history really hurts them because they don't contextualize things. And
that's why,
you have all these conflicts because it's like, well, do you not understand how, people thought? Like what,
Yeah.
They don't. It's kind of embarrassing for me sometimes to listen to these people talking. You're kind of like, really? You have no clue? Like, have you not read a history book? Like, go to the library and study before you make.
They don't have a clue. They just listen to the media.
Right. So every founding father's a racist. It's every founding father's this, that, and it's like, oh Lord.
Well, I mean, and how do you get past that conversation? I'm curious. That's a good thing.
You can't. Because unless people are willing to go back and actually do their homework,
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean,
it's so what I don't, again, we're living sort of in an age right now where people have information bias. So actually, as if you look at the research, we really want to hear what our bias is affirmed. People aren't really looking to sit down and get a different, have their ideas challenged.
So what's the solution, do you think? What do you think is the solution?
Well, what does God do with us a lot of times?
He looks at us.
He kind of lets us have what we want until we crash and burn. I mean,
he looks at us and goes like this.
There's nothing you can do. You just got to let it play itself out and deal with the mess that it creates. You just get out of the way.
Oh, I like what Wayne just said. Nah, we wait for the Netflix special. Reading's like so much work.
Mike, you're get in their face and confront them. You know what I mean?
I know. Right? Yeah, and let's not talk about Netflix. Apparently, there's a big deal about that this weekend. Everybody's unsubscribing. Yeah.
Well,
because of this show that they
the Cutie. It's called Cuties.
I mean, I haven't watched it, so I can't say, but I'm not sure that I want to. So,
well, it's basically a story about a little Islamic girl who gets influenced by her peers. So it's about peer pressure, right? To depart from her strict religious upbringing to dance, to wear clothes, right? But where they cross the line with it is it's over sexualized. Like you have these little teenage girl, but see, this is the other side of, so I'm of a mixed mind about the movie, because the reality of it is if you
they were 11-year-olds, they weren't even teenagers,
Ophelia, and you see what happens to 11 and 12-year-old girls, and right, I mean, there is a sexual, I mean, they are exposed to things at a very young age. I mean, my 11-year-old granddaughter's going through it, and my daughter's dealing like I did with her when she was at that age. Right. So the movie is actually very true. It's a very real movie. It's just the problem is that they spend way too much time watching these little girls do all these very sexualized dance moves. Right. And so then you're like, ew, it's creepy. You're just like, ew. True. But the underlying thing that they're trying to say in the movie is they're trying to make a point about what happens, because what happens to her is it all goes bad, right? She thinks that she's being set free from this strict culture and ends up finding out it's not exactly what she thought on the other end.
Right. Right. So well, I mean, I remember at her age.
Real. It's just that there's too much visualization of these little 10, 11-year-old girls all doing very provocative sex things. Yeah.
No.
As you know, if you're a mom of an 11-year-old, these girls, suddenly they come home from school and what are they doing? Right. But they don't know. They don't understand. They have no contact.
Well, if you've ever watched, excuse me, sorry about if you've ever watched a dance competition at their ages, you sit back and you go, they got that choreography. Like why? And I was part of a Christian dance company at the end when I was doing a little bit of Irish dance teaching. And I was glad to see that they were not like that. And in this other, probably less expensive group, they were teaching them these things. And I taught praise dance at church, and I had a couple step dancers that I was teaching, and to get them to stop dancing like that in praise dance was very difficult. And that was kind of a war that I had in trying to get these girls that had some dance experience not to dance like they did in their experience. And so
it's hard because they're watching, now we have music videos. We didn't have music videos when we were kids, right? But now there's music videos, and they've got all these stars, right?
Right.
female stars who are so overtly sexual, right?
Yep.
And all their music. So you've got these little girls who are looking at this going, hey, so this is what it means to be a woman.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
And so that's
well, that's why
the movie's very honest, actually.
of
it's a truth movie.
Well, last year the Super Bowl halftime. I mean, J-Lo and Shakira.
Right.
You know,
Super Bowls
honestly, if that's what the girls' role models are, holy cow.
Well,
and of course, I'm not a prude. I'm not prude. Like, I thought she was okay until that one time. I was like, whoa, J-Lo, chill.
But, and again, this is what happens when you're in subcultures, right? And I know this because I spent a decade of my life in the music culture, right? But it's the same thing. I saw it in the comedy culture, right? It became a thing that you were courageous and a pioneer if you pushed the envelope, like as far as you could push it to cross a line, right? And that was seen in the subculture as you were progressive, you were on the cutting edge, right? It wasn't seen as you're destroying certain culture, you're destroying politeness, you're destroying, it wasn't seen like that. And so the same thing happened in the music thing. So all these musicians are so desperate to be seen as on the cutting edge, and what bothered me about that whole Super Bowl thing was especially J-Lo. It was like J-Lo was trying to project herself as this young, hip, cutting, like, it was like embarrassing to me. I was embarrassed by it. It was like, you're trying to be like this thing you were 20 years ago.
Well,
right?
Though she could do
relevant. What?
So she did,
right? And then they got all that pushback, but it's like,
they really did.
Music isn't good enough. You have to sell it by sexualizing everything.
Yeah, and that's where our society's gone.
It's the marketing, right? They see it as marketing. We're marketing it. So
yeah. So Larry had some dance experience too. Dancing the waltz.
Yeah, that's a little different. But it's hard. I mean, I
can't do it.
You what,
I can't.
Reviving Ophelia for me was a game-changing book because
what was it called?
Reviving Ophelia.
Oh.
It was written by a psychologist out of Omaha.
I've heard of it.
And here I was, growing up a male, in a male world and dealing with male things. I was absolutely clueless as a father what my daughter was going to go through, right? I didn't know. Well, I just happened at the time that she was, a child. I was also starting in on my counseling career. So I was starting, study psychology and counseling and all this kind of stuff. And I stumbled across the book and I started reading it and my jaw dropped. I was just like, I had no idea, right? That this is what 11, 12-year-old girls go through. And it's about the peer pressure, which is what the movie talks about, right? This peer pressure and how girls are, it's thrust at them in such an early age to appeal to boys and be sexual and how everything that shifts, right? I'm like reading this and my jaw drops, right? Then within 2 years, my daughter is that girl and I watch it up close and personal. And I'm fighting for her as a dad, trying to protect her from this culture, right? That is telling her that if you don't do this, you're not cool.
Right. Well, when I was in middle school, it was when Judy Blume came out with those books. I don't know if Judy Blume had a book about, girls and that change and all that stuff. And we thought that was taboo then. Like, ooh, we're reading this book. It's like a taboo book. And it kind of talked about just your body changing and that kind of thing. And it was right when they had put into the school systems on about the differences in male and female and showed the movies and I guess it's sex education is what it was, what it is now. And, that's an eye opener because you're innocent and then all of a sudden you're not, and you're like, oh, now I know something new. And you think, oh, ooh. And then now to look back, it's like, man, that really does break your innocence. It just really the reality shift.
Understand the peer pressure that my daughter was going to get, you know what I mean? I didn't
horrible.
realize
And
that
then
the pressure was
and
gonna
these
come
people
from her own age group. It wasn't parents doing it. You know what I mean? It was her peer, it was her friends.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And now, I mean, it is so they don't even worry about it being on television at all.
Well,
I mean, a commercial has it now, innuendos and commercials. Right. But if you look back at all the old cartoons,
right,
the innuendos were in there as well. It's not like this is new, because that did happen in our generation before us, talking about all those things, I mean, it is, again, I haven't watched the Netflix thing.
Well, what was odd for me, just as a dad, was 1 minute my daughter's worldview of boys, right, was they were just boys. Like, there was no difference. Right? There wasn't. They interact. I've seen it with my grandkids and how all the kids in the neighborhood play, and there's no difference between boys and girls. They don't even think in those terms, right?
Right.
And suddenly, within a year, right, everything shifts, and your whole world is based on if boys like you. Right. And the battles that go on between the girls over the boys liking. I mean, it was just like my head was spinning. Yeah. I said, what happened? But the book was the thing that actually gave me the tools. Well, first it gave me the heads up, right? That it's coming. And then it gave me the tools to navigate. And I didn't understand. Well, I did understand this little point that fathers have the biggest impact on their daughter's sense of their self and their self-worth and all that. And I realized that I had something to contribute in this whole thing, because as she was battling with who she was, I was the one that could speak into that. And so I spent a lot of time hugging and affirming and speaking into her heart, Oh,
that's good. That's good.
Yeah, because everybody else was telling her that she had to be this other thing to be liked and be valuable and to be beautiful and to be a woman. And you're like, no, you don't.
Well, I had a different experience, I guess. I decided I didn't like any of the guys in my high school. I was that girl. I was like, I was friends with everybody. I was friends with all the guys. And I heard them talk about my friends and other girls, and I thought, no way am I going out with you if you're going to talk about them like that. You ain't talking about me like that, like I kind of got wise to that early on. Like, no way, I'm not even putting myself in there. So I didn't really date guys in high school or anything. And I'd just be their friend. But I did like older guys.
Well, it hit home to me when my daughter got beat up in the girls' bathroom over a boy.
Oh no!
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. It's vicious.
See, I did have crushes on certain ones.
It's vicious.
Yeah, I had crushes, but I didn't ever pursue it. Like I was like.
No, but I mean, it's the competition between the little clique of girls, and that's what's in this movie. It's a little cadre, a little clique of about 5 or 6 girls, and their little battles with each other. And
I saw the preview for it, but again, I'm not sure I'm gonna go watch it. I just, it just made me uneasy seeing the preview about it. I was like, ugh.
The storyline I thought was absolutely. I mean, it's all very true. It's graphically true.
It's true. And people are like, oh,
that they ended up with there's just way too much footage of these little girls.
That's what the problem is.
And it's creepy. And but it's true. Creepy. That's the sad point. I'm telling you, in the real world, it's like people don't like it, but this happens.
Well, I mean, if you look at TikTok,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I looked at TikTok. You know, I took it
Well,
off my
no, I
phone.
mean we've got.
I don't even have that on my phone anymore.
I mean we have 11 and 12, just like in the movie. One of the scenes in the movie is she takes a picture of her private parts.
Oh my God.
Boys.
What?
But that happens. That's
11?
happening with 11 and 12-year-old girls right now.
Oh my God. 11. Oh my God. That's ridiculous.
How much pressure there is on these girls.
Oh my God. That's
it's tragic. And that's what I'm saying. It's like the movie, I'm conflicted about it because on the one hand, it's graphically true. And the other hand, I don't like seeing it. You know what I mean?
Right. And I like what Donna just said. Like,
right.
True or not, it shouldn't have been filmed.
Right.
They corrupted the actors.
They could have done the movie. What I didn't, like I said, I didn't like the amount of scenes where they're showing the girl. Like they could have done the movie without all of the working scenes and still made their point.
Right.
That's what I did.
That's what I mean. It's like that is horrible. That is horrible. That is, yeah. It's a boy, we dove into the controversy. We didn't keep it light. We did not keep it light as always. Yeah.
Well, you like controversies.
I do I?
Yes. You told me you did.
Okay. And exactly what Donna.
Yes, she's absolutely right. It's sad, but they'll be all over it.
Freaking horrible. Sorry. Raising girls in this world sucks. Yep.
No, Heather's absolutely right.
Heather knows. I don't have daughters.
With your daughters, you have to be proactive. You can't just sit back. There's a war going on for their soul.
There is.
Right.
Even as women, I mean, it's not even little girls, you know, as women get older, we're told that we need to be XYZ. And in the dating profile world, we're told we need to be XYZ, right? Like, oh, well, do you know how many men have sent me a message going, show me a full body picture?
Oh, yeah.
Like, what? Really?
Oh, wow.
I mean, why? You know, why do I have to have that? Because they want to make sure that I'm not fat, I guess. Right. So, and I'm going to say that just like that, because that's the truth.
Yeah. Okay? No.
People don't like the truth sometimes. and the truth is they want to make sure, you know, I'm proportionate. Right. Well, I'm a curvy girl, period. End of story. You know, if you want to meet me in person and see that I'm a curvy girl, fine. If you don't, then fine. I don't care. You know, I'm kind of, you know, but I'm off the dating stuff, so it doesn't matter at this point. But that was
Heather's intimidating her daughters. She's scaring the hell out of them. No, it's just sad because, you know, music. Yeah. You know, what's sad is music is a highly influential art form.
Yeah. And those videos
you see how sexualized it's become.
It's ridiculous. It's
and you know, in some forms women are completely degraded. In other forms they're completely objectified. In other forms, you know, all they are is sex up. You know what I mean? Well, and I'm just saying these messages that are being sent out to all young kids, because the vast majority of music is bought by people that are young, right? It's teenage girls. They're the biggest buyer of music. And yet this message, you know, so that's where I'm with Heather. It's like, it's hard raising daughters because the world out there just completely wants to turn them into something, you know. Yeah.
Jeff says curvy is groovy. Thanks, Jeff. Have you heard the song? Oh no, I have not.
I've heard about it though.
That's I mean, that's where we're going. So what can we do? Okay, the last couple minutes. So you said, what was the name of the book?
Song.
What did you say the name of the book was? Reviving Ophelia, right?
Reviving Ophelia.
Reviving
Ophelia.
Ophelia. So, yeah, and Donna, she raised 2 girls too.
Yeah.
I mean, and I remember, you know, her daughter, because of course it's my niece, you know, again, the dance costumes. Like when I started Irish dancing, our costumes had to, our teacher from Ireland made them below the knee. Then Lord of the Dance was out, and Michael Flatley had made the really short Irish dance dresses. And so then all of a sudden that was the big deal, is now the little girls are in these little short Irish dance costumes with glitter, and they have makeup on, and they have all this hair. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, from the time I started in the 90s till the 2000 and now, it has even changed so much drastically that, I mean, I love watching it, but the traditional piece has kind of gone out the window, like that traditional piece that was more conservative looking, we had the Celtic knotwork, on our dresses and that kind of thing. And now it's about glitter and baubles and all of that stuff. It's not even close to what a Celtic traditional costume would look like. They do have knotwork on it, but again, it's in the midst of glitter. And you're going, what happened? And again, it's because our society has changed so drastically. Now, I can't say that it's not cyclical, again, like we've talked about before, because I mean, in the Egyptians, I mean, look what they, if you've ever looked at their,
brought up JonBenét, and I actually was thinking, I had the exact same thought as Donna, because that's in the beauty pageant world.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was an eye opener, when they started exploring that, and you started seeing what these little girls do in these beauty pageants. It's like, ew, it was creepy. It was like little 5-year-old girls being made to look like,
yeah,
the 21-year-old Miss Universe. You know what I mean? You're like, really? Like let the girl be a child.
Yeah. So that's the key, is the parents have to take control over that. Really, that's all you can do. Your control is within what you can do in your own family. And the problem is, just like all those movies, like the Molly Ringwald movies, even in the 80s, for us, what she used to sneak out and then change into a different outfit, when she got outside of her house, put it in her backpack, and so we're always trying to strive, like you said, for what we see in the music videos, what's acceptable society. Now, right now, there's an opportunity because the kids aren't going to school, right? They're being homeschooled. So you actually have kind of a small window of an opportunity, I think, to change what your kids wear and all of that, right? I mean, wouldn't we have kind of a small opportunity here? Don't you think?
Well, my 11-year-old granddaughter, she's out in Lee Summit, but her little brothers, they got to go to school, and she has to do distance learning, so she's at home.
Right.
So the older kids, they've kept isolated.
Yeah.
Anyways, you see what time it is?
It's time to go.
Yeah, I gotta roll. I got things to do.
I gotta go to work.
People to see.
Anyway, we did get deep there. If you guys have any idea about, what you can do to help this generation, we need to turn stuff around. We need to do what's morally right. Don't you think? Stop doing this to children. Stop doing this to young girls. It's horrible. And boys, because then the boys are like, they're stuck in it too, and just the girls, right? I mean, it's not their clothing, but it's the way that they're supposed to act and speak. So anyway, This week, try to change somebody's mindset.
Right.
Okay. Have a good day.
If you see a little girl, tell her she's beautiful because she is who she is. She doesn't have to be somebody else.
That's right.
All right. Love you. See you later.
All right. Bye. Peace out.